Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, we are going to be talking about some of the cheapest records ever made today. Record on your left, Bing Crosby there singing some holiday stuff just for your enjoyment and background noise. It's not what we're going to be talking about really. Um, we're going to be talking about this. Again, I picked this up for $1. It's still an awesome value at the local downtown Denver Goodwill. Which, risking my life going through that part of town was worth it because I emerged with 4 records that I could share with you, and this being one of them. As you can tell, this is a RCA Victor. At this point, RCA Victor was branded like that with those RCA letters and still Victor at the top. Never mind the stereo effect process from Monophonic. We've talked about that ad nauseum. Fake stereo. Check that out in another video. But we just wanted to talk about the quality of records at this point in time. As you can tell, the branding has changed a lot. We've got kind of a very late 60s, early 70s kind of art at this point on this record. Sound of an Era. This is part of a 3-volume set of Glenn Miller Best Of. There's the other ones. But again, we're not here to talk about the music. We're here to talk about the physical record. This thing represents a low point in vinyl pressing, in my opinion, and that is the records that RCA Victor was making. Very, very tail end of the 60s and into the early 70s. We've talked about Dynagroove before, which is more of a technical standard for processing sound, and again, you can watch a previous video on that. But one of the side effects of that process was extremely thin records. This one may or may not be Dynagroove, but as you can see by the date, where is it? I just saw it before we started filming. There, 1969. So that's, puts a timestamp on this record, which puts it right in line with what is expected. I'm going to show you here in a second, and that's super, super flimsy record. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to handle this in a way you shouldn't handle records. But again, it was $1. It's my record. It doesn't matter. So I'm happy to. I'll take one for the team. Okay. It looks like a normal record, and it is a normal record, and it plays and whatnot. But this thing is thin. I mean, this is a thin, thin, thin record. I'm going to hold it by one side, and you can see it hanging there. This thing will flop in the way. Again, it's my record. Don't freak out. Actually, I kind of enjoy this. Audiophiles and vinyl snobs, freak out. Anyway, this record is so flimsy. I mean, there's just nothing to it. I mean, you can put your thumb in the middle and, easily bend that thing, as you can see. It is just a flimsy, flimsy, paper-thin record. If you're talking about weight, this is, standard weight for a record is 120 grams. A high-end record being 180. This has got to be 120 or less. I mean, this thing is paper thin. Obviously, this is a cost savings measure. This is not for any benefit other than it's a lot cheaper, when you're making millions of records if you're pressing it using less product. So, super, super thin. The sound quality, it's actually a good condition record. You could see that playing surface is good. And it bounced back. It's perfectly, normal size and shape now. I didn't damage it. But, the playing surface is going to be fine. It's going to be deep enough to hold the grooves. Something interesting you may not know about records, that the width of the grooves and the spacing is actually dependent on the music. So if you have music with not much modulation, pretty quiet, constant music, they can fit a lot more grooves in there than they can if it's very dynamic with drums and loud parts and quiet parts, where they actually have to space it apart. It's not a set amount of music that they can put on each side. Anyway, so just want to show you a super flimsy record, early 70s, late 60s. Once you see this logo for RCA, that's when you're looking at those flimsy, flimsy records. I've got a bunch of Elvis records that are similar, very flimsy, paper thin, but interesting to have in the collection. And from a sound standpoint, sounds fine. It's a good quality record from a sound standpoint. Prone to warpage, and considering this thing is over 40 years old, it's pretty amazing that it's in this great of condition. Somebody really took care of it. Look at that rainbow sheen at the top there. I'm always talking about that. That's how you know your records are playing surfaces in good condition. Look at that. That is the best rainbow sheen I have been able to reproduce on camera. Check that out. That is a quality playing surface. There you go. Paper thin records, courtesy of RCA in the 70s. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. As always, thank you for watching. Happy record hunting. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.